Okay.
Okay, it's 9:03. I'm going to be monitoring the Facebook page and a few of our other links on Skool and a couple other places, so that way if anyone has questions, I can try to answer them. So what I wanted to cover today was how we dispo, but we're also going to talk a little bit about novations, and I want to give some real world examples. So if by chance I'm looking at the screen and then you catch me glancing at another screen, it's because I'm using dual monitors, so you'll just have to forgive me for that. So let me open up this over here, and then I'll share my screen. I've done a little bit of talking about what novations are, but here, let me show you one. Share screen one. Okay. So Yolanda, this is a property that we got under contract. Okay. So we went to the seller and we tried to look at his property, and it's not quite a fix and flip. Right. It's not like this is a house that needs to be completely gutted. It's a little bit older style, older countertops, older cabinetry, still very nice, still very livable, right? The flooring is a little older. The color scheme is I would probably prefer whites as opposed to the yellows. But it's still a nice home. So this is a type of deal where you have a seller that comes to you and says, "Look, I'm not going to give it to you at a wholesale price, because in order for us to get this at a wholesale price, the retail value of this is somewhere between 350 to 370. Okay, retail. So let's just say that on the low end it's 350, right? So as a wholesaler, you'd want to get it for 75%, right, of the retail value minus the cost to bring it up to today's standards. This is a lipstick fixer. This one is probably going to be, $20 to $25 a square foot. This is in Florida, so it may even be, $15 to $20 a square foot. So right away we're at 262, and then it's about 2,000 square feet. So if we were to say that it's $20, if we were to say that it's $20 a square foot to bring this house up to today's standards, then what you'd be looking at is around what? 2,000 times $20, $40,000 in repairs, minus 40, just to bring it up to today's standards. So now we're at 222. And we also want to make a wholesale fee. We want to make something out of this. So let's say we want to make $20,000. Now we're down to $202,000. So in order for this deal to make sense for us to get it as a wholesaler and then sell it to an investor who's going to flip it, we'd have to get this property at $202,000 when the retail value of it, even in its present condition, is somewhere between 350 to 370. Let's say 330 to 370. So it's a really tough pill for a seller to swallow, that they got to accept, or that you want to make them an offer of 202,000 when they know that they can put it on the market for 350,000 and still get this property sold, right? So in this case, a lot of times people are like, so what do I do now? Right? What do I do in this situation? I've got a motivated seller. The seller wants to sell the property. I'm not going to be able to get it at a wholesale investor price. So what would the next step be? Well, in this case, what you would do is you would then try to do some type of innovation, right? That's what they're calling it this day. Within our circle, within our profession, the truth is really what you're doing is you're getting them to agree on a price that allows for enough room for you to be able to put it on the MLS, pay an agent, get professional photography, do what you got to do, and then market it on the MLS using an agent to do that. So let's analyze the numbers now. Let's say that this is worth about 350 to 360. We'll say 355. The formula that we typically use is 90% of ARV times 0.9, which is about 319, minus whatever fees we want to make. Usually $30,000 is good because that covers enough to cover the closing costs, the paying the agents, and paying ourselves. So if you subtract 30, then really the ideal price to get this property at would be around 290, right? Around 290. And then what you can do is then you can put this property on the market. Now you have to get the seller on board. The seller has to agree to this. And I'll probably share a recorded conversation that I just had with a probate attorney and a seller over in Cincinnati, Ohio, on a property that they wanted to sell. And I'm going to pause the screen share for just one second. just so that way, as I do it, why is this happening? Hold on. Okay, so I was on the phone with a probate attorney and the client and my JV partner, and we were talking. His name is Ben, and we were on there. And one of the things that I said to the seller and to the probate attorney was, "Hey, listen, you're selling the property a little bit higher than I would like to be at based on what I want to do with the property. I am an investor. You know that I am purchasing this property to fix it, flip it, and sell it to an end buyer. You understand that. So we can agree on that. Now, all I'm asking is that if I'm going to pay a little bit higher, I'm going to pay more than I'd like to pay as an investor. All I'm asking is that you give me the opportunity to find my end buyer while we are under contract. Because I use this especially during the summer months, because I tell them, look, during the summer months, this is when we're the busiest. So I really would like to try to capitalize on that. And all I'm asking is that you give me the opportunity to take the property to the open market. So allow me to put it on the MLS, allow me to find an agent. It won't cost you a penny. You don't have to pay it, the commissions. You don't have to pay the closing costs. You don't have to pay anything. But I'm going to need you to be a part of the process so that you can authorize any paperwork that the agent is going to need. So if I can do that, if I can come up to your price, come up a little bit more, will you at least give me the opportunity to find my end buyer while we're doing this so that I can save myself some time? And most of the time, when you explain it that way to people, they'll understand what you're doing. They appreciate the fact that you're being upfront about it. And then most of the time, they'll be okay with it if you give them the heads up, if you're being transparent with them. And we did that. And this is with the probate deal. This was with an attorney on the phone listening to the conversation and authorizing the seller to do that, right? So a lot of times people are like, well, is that even legal? Are you sure you can do that? And you can, but you have to make sure that everybody's on board and everybody's agree to it and they understand what you're doing. So that's one of the things that we just did. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Share. Okay, so in this case, we got it a little high. I'm hearing some background noise, so I'm going to mute everybody out for just a second. Okay, so in this case, we got it a little higher than I really wanted it to be. We got it at about 320. We put it on the market for about 370. We're getting some attention. And then, if we look at this, we can take a look and see what's happening around it. Let's not look at what's sold. Let's look at what's for sale. Reset all filters. So if we take a look at what is for sale right now, accepting backup and pending, we're priced okay. I mean, there's only a few properties that are priced lower than us. There's one for 325, but that's 1,200 square feet. We're at 1,700 square feet. There's one for 385, 1,500 square feet. One for 378. And this one, it says it's accepting backup offers, right? So we're not too bad. We have it under contract for about 320 right now. If it sells for about 345 or 350, we'll be okay. We'll be able to pay the closing costs, the agents, and still walk away with a little bit of money. So to answer your question, Yolanda, that is how a novation would work. What you would do is you're dealing with a seller whose property isn't quite a fix and flip. It's like right in the middle. It still needs to be updated, but it's still sellable, it's still livable, and it's still rentable. So a end buyer will still buy the property. Now, why are we talking about that? Because you just asked me about the interest rates. And with the interest rates dipping, the end buyers for this particular property, as an example, is probably going to be a typical, bread and butter family. Somebody that wants to come in there, purchase this property for their family. That's probably going to be the end user, but you never know. But that's with the interest rates dropping, that's how we capitalize on that. And so we've been having showings. We may reduce it to about 365 just to bring it down. It's only been on the market for about 2 weeks. We have some decent views, so it's not bad. Like I said, even if it goes for about 350, 355, we're still doing okay because we have it locked in for about 320. Now, if it dips below that, below the 350, then what we'll probably have to do is renegotiate the contract with the seller for a little bit. Okay.
And Paul,
now,
at all times, does the property stay on the MLS?
Yes.
At all times during negotiations?
Yeah, but you have to make sure that they're aware of it. right? You have to make sure that they understand that that's what you're going to be doing. So what I typically tell them is, look, you're going to get your price. Just allow me the ability to find my end buyer, okay, by putting it on the market. I will deal with everything. I will deal with home inspections. I will deal with repairs. I will deal with commissions. I will deal with closing costs. You don't have to deal with anything. That's my burden to carry. That's my expense to carry. You have your price and I have mine, but just allow me the ability to find that end buyer while we're under contract. And usually they're okay with it.
Okay, wonderful. Great. Thank you.
Okay. Now, let me show you how we're selling it. So there's a website called Baycomb. This is just one example of one where it's for about $99. You can go in there and you can sell your property. Okay. They work in a lot of metro areas, and most states. They do work in Florida, and that's how we put it on the MLS here. Now, I am a licensed broker in Florida, but I didn't list it myself, only because I didn't want to have too many hands in the cookie jar. So I didn't want to have, I didn't want to be the wholesaler, then the listing agent. It was just, it gets too messy. So for $99, I'd rather just let somebody else put it on the MLS for me. That's why we did it that way. There's other ones. There's one called HomeCoin, I believe. And they are another one that is a flat fee MLS. And I've used them in Oregon, right? So for $99, they'll put it on the MLS for you. So why is this important? Because, there's a lot of talks about how now you can't wholesale properties and how you can't do all of that stuff. But if the seller is on board and the seller understands what it is that you're doing and they agree to those terms, then you're not doing anything that's unethical, illegal. You're being upfront with it. That's the difference. The challenge lies where people are not telling the sellers and they're not letting them know what they're doing, and then they're going out and doing it, and then the seller finds out on their own. So I just wanted to bring that up to everybody's attention, that once we get into these states where they are, starting next year, some states have already started, where you can't wholesale unless you have a license. Well, the way to do it is you turn it into a novation and you get an agent on board, so that the agent then puts the property on the market for you and for the seller. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about Dispo. So if you guys get any deals that you need help sending out, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this website, but there's a website called Investorlift. Now, Investorlift is like the Zillow of real estate for real estate investors. So the fix and flippers, the people that are looking for properties that are subject to, they know that when they come to this website, they are looking at properties that are of that nature, right? They can do the same thing on the MLS. They can do the same thing on Zillow. But if you're an investor and you're looking for properties specifically that you can fix, flip, rental, sub-2, takeover mortgages, et cetera, this is a very, 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 very popular website where investors go to. And not only do investors, but a lot of times even real estate agents come in here and they're looking for deals for their own clients, just as an FYI. So we have an account with Investorlift, and I'm sharing this with you because these are the properties that we have on Investorlift right now. Now, I will tell you that if you get a deal and you have something under contract and you need help with disposition, in order for you to put a property on this website, there's a membership to join. On the low end to join Investorlift, it's $6,000. On the high end to join this website, it's $52,000 for the year, and that's annually to be able to put your properties on this site. So this is an example of one that we have right now. This is, our team and our company deals. These are all of our deals that we have on there. So if you do get something under contract and you need exposure, what you can do is you can come to us and we can put the property on Investorlift for you on our company account, and we can even put our own fee on top so that we can see if there's room for us to make a profit on that, and we can work together on it for you. So I just want everybody to understand that. So if you have a property that's currently under contract right now and you need help selling it, we can put it on this site, and then we'll put our fee on top. Now, let me show you the back end so that you guys understand why this site is so valuable and why it works, okay? So these are all the property inquiries that we've been getting on a daily basis, and I'm going to zoom in on this. And they were inquiring on these properties that we have up for sale right now, one in tech. Now, here's the deal. They give us a name, email, phone number for the person that inquired, and then they also give them a buyer score. So Investorlift is kind of like Yelp or like Uber, where we're self-policed. In other words, the people who have memberships and the people that have paid for these memberships, they police and they can put labels on these particular buyers when they perform, when they don't perform, when they ghost us, when they lead us on, or if they're daisy chainers where they're trying to just sell the deal to somebody else. So there's ways, and you'll see that these labels show up here. So for instance, oh, I zoomed in too much. You see one here where it's VIP, landlord, realtor. It has all these labels because these are all, this person is, these labels are associated with this person. Now, I don't want to make this video totally public, but I will tell you that if you look here, this score is 340,328. Now, how do you get a higher score in Investorlift? You get a higher score by performing. So the more that someone performs, the more that they buy, the more that they actually close transactions, and these transactions are reported by us, by the people that have the memberships, and the higher the score. So if this person is investigating a particular property, there is a very, very high chance that if this person submits an offer, they're going to close and they're going to buy. Whereas this person's score is a little bit lower. And all that means is that they're probably just getting started, or they're just getting going, or they haven't performed. And as you can see, they don't have too many labels here. And so what that means is that they have been labeled as a vetted cash buyer, and vetted means that people have seen their proof of funds and they've researched them. This person is vetted as well, but their score is a little bit lower. So I guess my point is that this site allows us to then communicate with the end buyers that come in, and we can do research on them. And I'm not going to click on it, but I can actually click on each buyer's profile, and I will see all the prior experience that they have had within the platform, the properties they purchased, what they've got, all of that stuff there. So it's a it's ingenious what they've done, and the founder of this company has done to create this software. And so I'm sharing that because, just in the last few days, in 3 weeks, we've gotten 121 new buyers on the properties that are out there, and we can use this to market, and we can use, so for instance, if we get, those are inquiries, but let's just look at this one. This one's one in Lithuania. And we're very particular about how we market it. Because we're marketing it, we give the price, we give all that. Just because of my background as a broker, we go out there and we give everybody the numbers, we tell them the asking, we tell them the rehab, we tell them the ARV, we give them a pretty good sales description, we give them the sold comps, and we give them the active comps. I'm not going to knock any other teams that are out there or any other deals that are out there, but I mean, if you look at some of the ones that are here, okay, so for instance, here's this one. We can click on it, and then I can see other deals that are out there too. Not bad, not bad. I don't see any comps, and Chris is good. Chris is a very good dispo guy. Just it doesn't really give me as much detail as I'd like to see on it personally, but whatever. So the other thing that we can do on the platform is we can use different modes where I can go in there and I can see other buyers in the platform that have purchased for this particular property. They've purchased other deals nearby, and what this does is, yes, it costs money. You have to buy credits, but we can buy these credits, and then we can look at all the other people that have purchased in the area. And then what it'll do is it'll give me the ability to market to them, and I can send them emails and text messages, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm bringing this up. Hold on, I'm looking at a chat. Sorry, I haven't been looking. No problem, Juan. Hopefully that Novations thing helped everybody understand. I'm going to stop the sharing just so we could chat. So I wanted to share what the Investorlift platform looked like, because again, if you do get something under contract and you need some help getting it dispoed, you can come to us. It's not going to cost you a penny. It's not going to cost you a dime. We're not going to try to get into your assignment fee, but what we can do is add a little bit on top, put it on the platform, and then market that deal out all to these VIP and vetted buyers within the area that have already performed. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. So for the people that are getting these deals, this is something that you can take advantage of too, and it doesn't cost you anything. So I'm checking the chats just to see if there's any comments or any questions. Is there anything else that you can think of that you guys need some help with?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So whenever we send the LOI,
Mm-hmm.
do we have to give them the how much we're gonna like make offer on the property?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you are going to send them an LOI, yeah, you need to have an offer on there. There should be a price on there. My suggestion is don't overthink it. Just send it out. Right now I'm sending out offers at about 55% of whatever the list price is, whatever the Zillow price is, or whatever the ARV might be. Not fit, yeah, 55%. If you overthink it, what happens is that you'll tend to analyze things, and then you'll take yourself off the track of sending out the LOI. Just send it out. Just do a quick. What does Zillow say? What's this estimate? And then send it out. Now, in some states, though, there's non-disclosure states, so they're not going to be able to give you any pricing. So Zillow will say in some cases the Zestimate will be 0, or they'll have just like a dash, because it's a non-disclosure state. In that case, you're going to have to go in there and you're going to have to take a look at what some of the other properties are currently active for, right? And then just offer 50 to 55% of that. Don't be afraid of offering offers at 50 to 55%. Are you going to get some agents or some sellers that are going to, give you snide remarks? Are they going to say some mean things? That's all a possibility, but that's also a possibility in our business too. So, you just got to get some thick skin, and you got to get used to sending those out. The more you send out, the better.
Okay. Because what I was thinking is sending out an LOI without the actual offer price, and so then that way I could actually like maneuver and maybe negotiate more in the future. I don't know if that's the strategy or not.
Yeah. So I will tell you that there have been times where I have sent out offers myself, where I used something within our platform called the Deal Bazooka. And again, I've done trainings on that too, and I've shown people how to do that. It's in our Skool course. All right. Yes, it costs money. Okay. But I will tell you that it works. So when I used that, one day I sent out like 350 LOIs, but I forgot to put the actual offer price or formula in my cells, because we use a Google Sheet, which is like an Excel spreadsheet. I forgot to add the offer price, and so it sent out 350 LOIs with no price on it. And so I was getting a lot of callbacks, and I was getting a lot of emails back, and I was getting a lot of text message back. But most of those text messages and most of those emails and those calls that came in, all they really said was, "What's your offer?" So it wasn't really, in my opinion, it wasn't very productive, because it was like I was having to start all over again. So I had sent out all these LOIs, and then the only reason they were calling me was because I didn't put a price on there. Whereas if I had sent the LOI out and I had put an offer on there, whether it was low, too low, or whatever, at least they knew where I stood. If that makes sense. So I'm only speaking from experience. I suggest putting the price on there, because if they do respond and they do say, "Here's our counter," at least you know you've got somebody that's willing to play ball with you, versus you sending out LOIs with no prices, and then you're getting all these calls and you feel busy, but then you go back and you tell them, "Well, here's my offer," and then they're like, "Well, not interested anyway." It's like you used all that energy in the wrong place. I think personally, that's just my own opinion. And for those of you who don't know what I am talking about, I'll share my screen one more time. Share. What am I sharing? I'm sharing the wrong screen. Sorry. I love it. Okay, so in Skool, we have something called the deal bazooka. Oh, it's not showing up. All right, whatever. It's called the deal bazooka, and if you go in there, let me open up a guest screen. A guest screen, and then you go to Skool. That's interesting. I love it when things are live and they're not working right. Okay, so there's our website. So why is Skool not working? Okay, so here's our Skool website. That was weird. And if you go in there, you can join the group. Anyway, we have something called the Deal Bazooka in there, and it costs $499. But basically, what it is it's a software to allow you to send out all of these offers. So you can send literally up to about 350 to 450 offers a day to people. I don't suggest you do more than 450 a day because Google will shut you down, and you can use your existing Gmail. A good idea is to probably set up another Google address or another Gmail address. Again, I'm speaking from experience here because one day I got a little too crazy and I sent out too many offers, and then they shut down my Google account, my primary Google account, for one day. So you might want to set up just another email address for yourself, just for that, and then you send out your the offers, and then you send them out every day. You're going to also need a PropStream account. So if you don't have a PropStream account, I can get you a link to one where you can get a 7-day trial, just so you could test it out and see what it's like. But you need the data, you need the software, you need the LOIs, and I can set all this stuff up for you. In fact, we set it up for you so that you could do it, and we give you all the training videos on how to do this for yourself. Now, once you get so good at this, right, and once you have experience with this is something that you could probably delegate to, and you can probably get somebody else to do it for you. But yeah, it's called the Deal Bazooka, and it's in Skool. Now, if you're sending LOIs one at a time, then what you're doing is you're just changing the price, and you're changing the name, and you're changing all that. And I've given the LOIs to everybody, so hopefully you already have access to that Google Doc that we use for the letter of intent, and you can send that out. I mean, look, you don't have to do 300, 400, 500 LOIs a day. Even if you're sending out 20 a day, even if you're doing it manually a day, 20 a day, I mean, do the math on that. 20 a day times 30 days a month, that's 600 letters of intent that you're sending out. Even if only 1% of them actually turn into something, that's 6 transactions. Even if you only get half of those that actually turn into something, now you're at 3. Even if 1 out of those 3 closes every single month with an average assignment fee of $7,500, you're doing okay. But you have to send them out. That's the thing. You have to send them out. A lot of people aren't sending them out. They're not sending enough offers out per day. Make more offers. Send out more offers. And even if you're doing it by text, it doesn't have to be an LOI. I mean, even if you're just sending it, hey, John, Jane, listen, the best I can do for this property is $330,000. Is that something that you would consider? That's considered an offer too. So, I mean, let's get over this idea that it has to be, this 10-page document. It can be a text, it can be a direct message through Facebook, it can be an LOI through an email, it can be whatever. It can even be over the phone verbally. Just get used to making offers. You want to keep track of how many offers that you're sending out per day. Make more offers.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul, just really quickly back to the novations. Just like a person would sign with an agent for a certain amount of time, and then if the agent doesn't, get their property sold, then they're no longer the agent. Is there a time frame or some kind of agreement that you would give the property owner, and then after a certain time, if you're not selling it, then you don't have the contract anymore?
Yeah. So it's usually so when you're doing a novation, you have to prep the seller that it's probably going to be a 60-day contract, not a 30-day contract. And again, how do you justify that? John, listen, I want to be transparent with you. Jane, listen, I'm offering you a little bit more than I'd like to offer as an investor because I believe in you, because I believe in this property. If we're going to do that and you're going to give me the opportunity to find my end buyer, I'm going to need at least a minimum of 45 to 60 days. It's not going to be, this isn't going to be a 30-day transaction. If you're looking for a 30-day transaction, I can get you a 30-day transaction, but I'm going to need it at a deeper discount. And you don't want a deeper discount, do you? You want a higher price, don't you? And if you want a higher price, then I'm going to need another 45 to 60 days. So I need your approval for us to be able to do what we're going to do over the next 60 days. Will that work for you? Yeah. That's the language on closing for a longer contract period.
Okay, I like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And all this stuff, we're going to post it on our groups, our group and our Skool page, all that stuff. So all these trainings I post on there. So that way you can go back and reference it. And if you caught me doing it, I'm nodding my head, I'm shaking my head as I'm doing it. And I even do that when I'm talking to people on the phone. They might not be in front of me. And the reason that I do that, even if I'm talking to them on the phone, is because people can feel your body language. They can feel it, even when you're on the phone. And so that's another reason that I'm always standing when I'm working. I stand all the time. I like using a standing desk. Yolanda can attest to that.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I stand all the time. I mean, it may not be that great for my legs, but whatever. Okay, it is 9:34. Any questions before I let everybody go? These calls, again, they're not supposed to be long and drawn out. I just want them quick, short bursts once a week of where we cover good information. So unless we have any other questions, I'm going to let everybody go and we're going to get back to work. Going once, I'm checking the group and chat. Going twice. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Let's get to work.